If you're a regular viewer of this channel, you might not have heard this yet, but the Queensland election's coming up, and every year that goes by I sound more and more like Colbert. Let's just look at what today's monologue's about, and oh look, it's all being smug about Murdoch. Transformation complete. Rupert Murdoch, crusher of souls and Mr. Magoo stud double. Not only able to get the most popular Prime Minister in Australian history out in 2 terms, was able to deliver ScoMo his surprise victory, which he accredited to God. Which, come on, does he still accredit the gifts his kids get to Santa? 'Cause I'm not sure about that. I have seen him at Harvey Norman, and seeing is believing. The point is, he's good at changing governments. You would think in Queensland, where he owns every paper, an entire state where the most prominent intellectual is Paul Murray, and yet Queensland Labor stands a chance. Why? Well, mostly because Anastasia Palaszczuk reminds everyone of their English teacher at high school that used to say, everyone please, I've got a really bad headache today. But also because the LNP is the party of Joby Oakey-Peterson. Who was that? Just imagine if the mayor from Round the Twist was a dictator. Just like how Jack Lang taught Paul Keating everything he knows, Joby Oakey-Peterson taught Clive Palmer everything he knows. He's the reason the Liberals and Nationals are permanently fused in Queensland, making the Liberals' brain tumour the brain. They're all the disciples of Mr. Don't You Worry About That. The upside of them being like the United Australia Party is that they're as incompetent as the United Australia Party. So after running on a campaign for months, it didn't seem to get much traction. Come on, Queensland, let's get COVID too. Can't have the Southerners hogging all the fun. They appear to have returned to old faithful, Labor's dead. Which credit where it's due, and it is certainly due to the pun writer at the Courier Mail. Oh, no. Wasted talent. What is he doing in Brisbane? He's ready for the big leagues. Hobart. If a woman in her 50s with curly hair and a lot of groceries from Norton Street Grocer was a town. Shitting on Hobart with specifically inner West Sydney references. I think I can speak for everyone when I say, you can relate. In terms of debt, the LNP is like they are to their federal sister party in every other respect, worse. And to give you an idea of just how bad that is, the federal Liberal government are the worst economic managers since Menzies, who by the way was another Liberal. If debt and GSP, that's gross state product, for those of you who didn't think that talking about GDP was lit enough, if debt grew at the same levels that it was under Newman in 2023, debt would be at 58% of GSP, and that's before COVID. Now, what is any guy with a lot of 12th Man albums gonna say? Well, do I even need to say it, because I've said it a million times before, but that's because they were cleaning up Labor's mess. No, Labor cleaned up Labor's mess. After just one term of the Palaszczuk government, that projection went down to 19% by 2021. By 2018, it was already sitting at 10%. Now the Courier Mail is whining. Unlike every other government on earth, Labor borrowed money during COVID to keep the economy going. How is not causing an economic collapse economically sensible? Under Newman, gross domestic income per capita decreased by 1%, the largest decrease of any state. That's a slogan for you. LNP, give yourself a pay cut for no reason. In Palaszczuk's first term, the government created over 4 times as many jobs as Newman's single term. They tried to fact check this claim. The worst case scenario is there would have been a minimum of 3 times as many jobs as there was under Newman. I'm sick of hearing Quiet Australia say, 3 words, jobs and growth. Okay, who are you voting for? Obviously the worst possible party for that. Do I look like a chump? On every single measure with the economy, Queensland Labor is quantifiably far better than the LNP. Debt, jobs, income, growth. In fact, they're not only better at managing money, they're also good at keeping money out. Does that half sentence make any sense? No? That's odd. Permit me to finish it. According to top QC Anthony Wheely, Queensland Labor just brought in some of the strongest schemes in the country regulating money and politics. They capped political donations, meaning Fatty McFathead can't do what he did in the last federal election. And what did the LNP do last time they were in office? They brought in laws to up the limit of how much donor money you have to declare. Why? so they could hide the fact that one of their biggest donors, Karaman Quarries, was about to be taken to court for illegally quarrying that destroyed prime farmland, then retrospectively change the law surrounding quarrying in order to help their donor avoid prosecution. This move was so blatantly corrupt that the New South Wales ICAC Commissioner said that if that happened in New South Wales, the perpetrators would be investigated. You know what that means? He's essentially saying that the entire LNP government should be investigated on corruption just for voting that in. And what a great way to declare that the Common Sense Brigade is now open. Name thought up on the Neil and Jordan podcast. You're going to help spread this fair dinkum information to fair dinkum Queenslanders in the only way they understand. Very poorly photoshopped pictures that barely qualify as memes. Subscribe to this channel for the very simple reason that if you don't, you're admitting that you like poor economic management and therefore have no common sense. Like this video to just double prove that you do.
Please share and comment below. Comment.